Okay. So a little bit more progress now. I'll show you what I've got in mind here. So I have edged the harbour wall, so you get that to focus in. So I use that brick pattern. It's just railway stuff, I think. So I've used that brick pattern and I think it looks pretty good. Or at least I'm happy with it. And then what I'm doing on the deck is I've got, I think it's evergreen card stock, and so essentially I'm just making that into a ductwork. Now, of course, I didn't have enough of the same size, same width of planking, so I'm having to use different widths. So it's going to be cobbled together, but you know what? Cobbled together, I think is looking good for this. I've sanded down. That can probably be released. The tower unit that had particularly bad seam lines. Still got particularly bad seam lines, but I've sanded it down nonetheless. But there we are. So I will continue putting the ductwork in place. Hopefully get that finished tonight, and you know, maybe treat that as, what do they call it, a mindful experience. Let's say that's what it feels like, a mindful experience. Okie dokes. Right, so I've primed all the parts now. Well, this is what I've used. Halford's primer. Again, I got this tip from Neil from Creative Time Wasting. It is a very, very good primer, but I think I was pretty much out. That was almost finished, and it was a cold day when I sprayed it. So there's been a couple of kind of, I'll just zoom in a bit. You can probably see that there's just a few sort of bobbly bits on it, but actually it's fine. That's okay. But that can's definitely empty. I've finished the decking, so I use some what's the name, evergreen strip, and I've made this into a deck. And I've also now attached the stonework. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. Everything else is all greyed up and ready for its first coat of paint. I've also started on the hull. Like I say, you can still see the red of the plastic coming through there, and that is because I was running out of paint. But I think there's enough on there. That'll do. I just need to mask that off, and I'll get spraying that up as well. So today's jobs, I'm going to start painting that little bad boy, the airship, and I'm going to start getting some paint on the buildings. So first up, I'll say this bad boy, I'm going to base it in that Citadel paint there, Rune Fang steel. So I'll get a load of that on it and see what it looks like. Well, troops, it's chaos here. I say this is my this is meant to be May's build, my Ghibli build, which was the Titanic, but it's just been an absolute shocker of a few weeks, actually a few months. So I'm so far behind on it. My camera wasn't wanting to play. Anyway, I've managed to get myself sorted, I think. So here it is, and I'll give you a quick update on where we're at. Let's put a few things on that. I can get rid of that. That's my battery tester. I now found some batteries that work. that can go in there. Right, so let's start off with the building. Move the crap out of the way. And let's see if we can zero in a little bit on that. So this is pretty much, I'm going to call this finished. I mean, I need to do a little bit of weathering on it, but I'm quite happy with it, I think. So it will do. It will do. I'm just going to turn that away. Hang on, I'll pause this. That's better. So I've adjusted the ISO. So there we have it. So I've done the bricks. It's got a little waterline on the bricks. And I've done the jetty. Quite happy with the jetty as well. That all looks pretty good. So yeah, the buildings are there or thereabouts. The Titanic. Well, here she is. So, I mean, it looks identical to what it was before it was sprayed up, but a bit of a pointer, let's find a pointer, cocktail stick or something. I didn't line it with any LEDs, time just got away from me. So this is just semi-gloss black and a gloss red from Tamiya. I'm pretty happy with the line. The line looks pretty good. There's a couple of little bits and bobs, tiny little bit of overspray, but I'm not bothered about that. I've got all the decks on, and again, if we can zoom in on the decks, I'll try and show you what I did with those. So I painted the deck in deck tan, and then I sort of painted randomly different colour browns, and it's worked out pretty well, I think. Can't see it quite as well under this light, but anyway, all the decks are on. And then the livery obviously is in white. So that's that is pretty much where I'm at. Couple of the top decks there. Oh, yeah, you might be able to see it a bit better on this actually. Let's get closer. So yeah, so I painted a sort of a random pattern like you would do on brickwork really, and then I gave it a wash of burnt umber, I think it was, over the top, and I'm quite happy with that. Painting in the walls and the steps and all the rest of it. That then became quite a job, I have to say. So that's going to sit on there like that, and then that's got to go on there like that, and then of course we get to the Titanic funnels. Some people said the yellow, some people said they were gold, but on the White Star website thing that I found, it says that it's meant to be a kind of an ochre, so I've done them in ochre. So I'm hopefully going to get all this assembled tonight and then get it together and then finish this off with a kind of a really small diorama using a bit of resin. At least that's the plan. Okay, back in a tick. Yep, so that's it for tonight, folks. I think quite happy with the progress on that. I need to sort out, there's quite a big gap all along there and all along there, and it will go together, but I don't think it will glue. I'll have to come up with a little plan, and I'm either going to put a strip of plasticard just across the top there, or I'll just fill it. I'm not too sure what would be the best approach. And again, if you look at the sides there and there, they will touch, but only just. So I've got to somehow brace that lot together and see if we can get that to set overnight. But otherwise, There she goes. And tomorrow we'll get the funnels on and the masts, and actually that'll be pretty much it. I'm there with the to get them out of the way before I crash that. Done the propellers as well, they're all sorted. So yeah, I am almost there. Finally a bit of progress. Zoom out a little bit, but that is done. I think that's what I'm going to call that, is essentially finished. I don't know if I'm going to weather it. One job I've got to do, which I'm not looking forward to, is the rigging. I'm not going to spend loads of time on the rigging note, just probably from the main mast to the bow and the stern, maybe a few little bits and bobs. I have got a rigging diagram for the Titanic, unfortunately. So that is the Titanic done, and he's sat there on his little stand, which is awesome. And then, as I say, in the background will be the dock. Let's see if we can get those both in shot. Well, I can take that off the stand. And the plan for the little diorama will be something like that. Not forgetting the little airship. There's a little airship that'll be flying overhead, and I'm going to make a little sign with the Titanic flying. So essentially, that's all the bits done, I think, and now I can start getting the diorama together, which I'm really pleased about. So there he is. Right, well, the rigging has started. I don't know how well you can see it, but I'm using a cocktail stick to apply the super glue, and I'm literally just touching it on the cotton, touching it on the mast, and it does seem to be holding up. It's going to be a slow process and extremely frustrating. I think